Hey everybody, what's up? It's the 19th of October. It's a Wednesday. It's hump day. Happy hump day. And I apologise for not making a trade recap video yesterday. It's unfortunately it was a long day. Netflix came out, the earnings came out after hours, and I continued trading after hours. I don't normally trade after hours. I just find that the liquidity and the volume after hours is painfully low. I mean, it's much less in pre-market trading, but after hours trading, it's even worse than pre-market, and from my own personal experience. But yesterday I made the exception, and I traded Netflix. Now the larger cap stocks, mid-cap stocks, I tend to usually I'll trade options or I'll swing trade those, but on earnings you may see a little bit of volatility that's worth taking a position, and Netflix was the exception yesterday. So I was able to trade it profitably as well. So we took we were a little bit green. We were 1,300 green by the time we got to the close, and then Netflix came out. And Netflix, we managed to get over $8,000 on Netflix. So we finished yesterday over $9,000, well, a little bit shy of $10,000 if truth be known, but a little over $9,000 green on the day. So it was a really good day yesterday. Thanks to Netflix. Thank you, Netflix. But we also had a green day on Monday. Well, I say we had a green day on Monday. It was $133. You probably saw the trade recap from there. And after fees and transactions, we actually were red on Monday, but for statistical purposes, we want to say we're green. And today we've had a green day as well. So that's 3 green days this week. 100%, if you will, this week, based on the poor week that we had last week. We were red Monday, Thursday and Friday last week. So we had a red week, and quite a considerable red week in the end. And we're still trying to claw back from that drawdown. We're not quite there, but we're not far off, because we've had a green day today. We're over gold today. So we're $5,300 up on the day today. Didn't start off that well. We traded a couple of things. We traded 5 stocks in total today. We traded pre-market, got faked out. We traded the same stock, looking for a gap and go, got faked out. We traded another stock that was chasing momentum, and it reversed on us. So we ended up, well, at one stage we were at the lowest ebb. We were about $4,000, just over $4,000 in the hole, $4,000 red at that moment in time. However, we managed to turn it around. We traded AMD, which was the first one, put us back on the road to green hood. Is that a word, green hood? It is now. That's now in the Tony, the dictionary with Tony definition of getting back to green. So we only got a small amount on AMD. We got it at the top end of the momentum, and before it started to reverse, and we got $175 on that. But that kind of turn things around for us. We traded Finger Motion, got $1,700 on Finger Motion. We tried to trade Indonesian Energy, and again we were about $700 green on that, unrealized before it reversed, and it did reverse quite quickly. So we tried to get out at break even. We lost just over $20 on Indonesian Energy, because as it reversed. As I say, we tried to get out for break even. SOBR was one that we got faked out twice to start off with. We were $1,200 down on that. We clawed some of that back. We got a double bottom, and we managed to claw that back, and we finished just $300 down on SOBR. The big one was AMPX was the ticker. I'm calling it by the ticker because I'm not sure if you pronounce it Ampeus or Amprius or something along those lines. Amprius, I think it is, but AMPX is the ticker, and this moved up really well early doors in terms of after the bell. We chased the momentum. It moved up into a halt. It gapped up quite helpfully, big gap up. So it pulled back, and then it extended to make new highs. We tried to get in for the new highs and ride the momentum, and it reversed on us, and we ended up $3,000 down on it. And it'd be like that sometimes when it's choppy, when it's a difficult market, when there's not a lot of options to trade, when there's not a lot of choice. You then start chasing the momentum, and that's what I did wrong today. I chased the momentum with AMPX. However, it did get a great catalyst later in the day. It got awarded a contract with the US Department of Energy, about $50 million, well, a $50 million contract, and that just sent it rocketing. But was able to not only claw back the $3,000 we'd lost on that, but another $3,700 besides. So we finished, it was a good $7,000 swing in my favor. We finished $3,700 up on that today. So let's just let's go through the actual trades themselves, shall we, and talk about it. So we traded SOBR first. So let's go back to SOBR. A big move up, and it hit the scanners. We're being a good boy, trying to be a good boy, obey the rules, follow the strategy, and wait for the first pullback. And don't chase the momentum, wait for the first pullback. So that's what we did. We waited for the first pullback, next candle to make a new high. We got in here. The spreads were quite big on it, so it was difficult to, get green on this. It went up to almost what I think it was the high of day was 345. And the spreads were kind of 10-12 cents, so we didn't actually get up over 340. We were waiting for 340. We were slightly green, but we were looking for 340. I think we were in at 333 or whatever it was. Let me just have a look at what our first entry. Actually, it was 339. So we were looking for a minimum of 340 in the move up. As it pulled back, we got out at the VWAP. The VWAP was kind of the death knell for us. Now, this was also the next stock we traded at the open. As it came at the open, as you can see here, it was moving up into the open, and then at the open it did a bit of a pullback, and then it broke the VWAP. So we looked for a move up, and again we were looking for the move up towards kind of 340. We got in, and again, it reversed on us, so we exited that position. At that stage, we were $1,200 down on the day. Then we traded, say, AMPX technology, AMPX is the ticker. I'm not sure of the pronunciation of the company, but AMPX is the ticker. And we traded this one. We didn't trade much else after SOBR until probably after the top of the hour. Now this moved up into a halt here just after 10 a.m. market time, and it was on the scanners. It was moving up, but it wasn't on good volume, so I refused to take a position with it. So it moved up into a volatility halt, and then when it gapped down, it actually resumed lower, but the volume flooded in. It came back down to the VWAP, bounced on the VWAP with heavy volume, so I looked to get an entry as it broke new highs. I was a little bit slow to the trigger, be completely honest, a little bit slow to the trigger, and I got a bad fail up at 840. It moved up and pulled back, and again the spreads were wide on this, so it was very difficult to judge the risk. It did pull back, but I thought, okay, no, I'll hold for the consolidation. And as it moved up, we didn't quite get green. It went up to kind of 860, but we still didn't get green. About 860 on the ask, but we didn't manage to get green on the bid. So again, it pulled back, and then we exited, and we were $3,000 down on this one at the time. So then it sold off, and we traded this a little bit later in the day, and I'll come to that in a second. But it was a little bit difficult to trade today. There's a lot of choppy moves. Quite a few good volatile moves, quite a few stocks moved by a reasonable amount, but they did it on low volume. And that was the problem today. There was just no volume in the market. So I decided to resort to trading where I knew there was going to be volume, which is the larger, mid and large cap stocks. And I traded AMD, and I was looking for this move up as it started to move up here, and we got in here pretty much at the bottom of the hour at the top end, and as it moved up, started to pull back, we got out for a small profit, $175. Not ideal. It would be nice to have got in on this pullback here for the move up. Ideally, this pullback here for the move up, or this one here, but we didn't. That's the way it is. A couple of others. I was trading in the World Series of Day Trading as well. I actually finished down on the day in the World Series of Day Trading. I'm actually in the red at the moment on the World Series of Day Trading, but I'll talk about that another time. I'm about $5,000 down on the World Series of day trading at the moment. So I've got a little bit to make up the rest of the week and the early part of next week. We traded SOBR safe again, and we were able to trade that again as it moved its way back up. So what actually happened here is on the 5 minute I saw a double bottom. So this double bottom here, saw this double bottom, and then I decided to enter the position as it broke the middle section of the W, and it moved up, and I managed to take some profits at the top. I took half my position off at the top as it pulled back down and exited the rest. And we managed to get back to kind of $300 down on SOBR safe. One of those stocks that it promised to move. It had a good catalyst. It promised to move. It made the right, noises, made the right patterns, but there were so many fake outs. It moved up here, hard flush. It moved up again a little bit later, a hard flush, and then a sell-off. There were so many fake outs for SOBR. I got faked out pre-market, I got faked out at the open, and there were so many other fake outs on this one. So this is going to be a little notebook, as be wary. The way that this stock behaves as it's been trading, it's prone to fake outs. It looks like it's going to make its move up and then doesn't follow through on the action. So that was SOBR safe. We did get another move on finger motion. This is the one that actually helped us start making inroads. So finger motion started to move up. So we was able to get in, as this pulled back, we was able to get in on this move up, and we got a good 20 cents on this. So as this pulled back here and then started to make a move up, I got in for the break of 580. I was able to ride this up. We got filled at 583, and I was able to ride this up. We got almost 20 cents on the full move, and we finished 1700 up on that across the course of the day. So that was reasonable. A reasonable move. We did take bigger size with that. We were between 5,000 and 10,000 shares on that whole move. So that little over 20 cent move provided us with that $1,700 gain. Now, we weren't done there. So as you know, we traded AMPX earlier in the day, and it made this huge move up. So broke the VWAP, came back down, but it's this huge move up. I was able to get a $7,000 move on this move up here. So it was a good $2 move from down here all the way up, over $2, and trading between 5,000 and 10,000 shares at any one moment in time. We was able to capitalize on that, and I say $7,000 gains on it. Took us on the day 3,700 up on AMPX. That in total took us over goal. So I rolled this up in two phases. So I got in on the first pullback here, rolled this up, and got out when it started to consolidate here. First candle make a new low, which was this one, and we just exited the position. It did then start to make a move up, pull back, and then we got in here for the next candle to make a new high here. Not this one, but the second one. So we got in here as we moved up, brought the quarter dollar up again, and then when it made the pullback and broke a new low, we exited the position. So it was a relatively clean move, relatively clean trade as well. It did make another move up, but I thought, look, I'm over goal. I'm green and I'm over goal. I'm staying it. So, and the football was on as well. So I didn't want to overstay my welcome, and I didn't want to miss my match. So I didn't trade it again. And I'm quite happy I didn't, because obviously you could have got in for the break of $10 and moved up. And the spreads weren't exactly favourable either a lot of the time. So they were quite rangy. But then it just kind of sold off into the close. It's up over $10 now. And I'm continuing to make a move up, but I didn't trade this. I'll say I was watching the football at this stage, so that was me done. Yeah, good to be good and good to be over goal and green today. It wasn't an easy day's trading, not in the slightest. What I would say is let's let's have a quick look at the statistics, shall we? Okay, so this is my trader view. So if you're wondering what trader view is the online journal that allows you to log your trades and analyze your trades. And if you're not logging your trades for analytics and review, I sincerely advise you to do that. You don't have to use TraderView. It has a number of different products out on the market. You can use an Excel spreadsheet, whatever way you do it. But by logging your trades, you're able to look back at what you've done, how you perform. If you have a red day, a red trade, bad trade, you're able to look at how you went, what you entered on, where you entered on it, whatever the scenario may be. You're able to analyze and review your trading, and that's a big thing. Just be able to improve on your trading and your strategy. Maybe go back and tweak a few things, but the analytics is really important. So anyway, September was a bit of a, although I was on vacation in September, it was a bit of a, it wasn't a great month. We managed to get 50k out of that, but you know what, we're not too far off that now in October. So after importing today's trades, we're 5,000 up today, just under 10,000, just 9,500 yesterday. Let's say scratch day on Monday, really. I mean, we're actually slightly red on Monday, but we're still trying to recover from last week's drawdown. So we started off with a drawdown on Monday. We recovered that over the next 2 days, and then we had more drawdown. So we're still trying to recover on that. So where are we in terms of in total right now? Let's have a look at year to date. So year to date, we're 25k off the 7-figure number gross. That's not the goal. 7-figure net is the goal, but we're 25k off the 7-figure gross. So that 7-figure gross number is the target for the end of October. Bearing in mind, at the beginning of the year, I set myself this goal where I need to do over $1 million net in terms of profit. In order to do that, I felt like I needed to achieve 1.2. So we're working on an average of about 16% in terms of transaction fee, 15-16% transaction fees, etc., commissions, fees that take it off the top. That would mean that I'd need to do about 1.2 million across the course of the year. That averages out to 100,000 a month. That averages out about $5,000 a day. So as you can see, we're averaging a little over $5,000 a day. We're slightly behind on the month in terms of October, but we've still got, what, 7 or 8 trading days left. After today, we've got, what was it, 8 trading days left after today. So we've still got, based on performing at target levels, we've still got $40,000 to achieve this month. That will take us a little bit behind on the month, but we came in ahead. So the average is still there. 25,000, 24,000 and change will get us over that 7-figure number on the year. If we maintain this $5,000 average per day, we should go into November ahead gross. We're still behind slightly on the net number right now. So maybe if we can get ahead on the gross, we can get ahead on the net as well. So let's look at October. Let's just look at the statistics first. Win-loss expectation on the year. You can see here 33% versus 67%. It's pretty much a 2-to-1 in terms of trade selection accuracy. So for every trade I take, for every 2 trades I take, 2 are winners and 1's a loser. So every 3 trades I take or whatever. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. And if I look at the gains, so a little over 2 million in actual profits. But I've actually lost $1 million in losses. So that's a definitive 2-to-1 ratio. So the 2-to-1 ratio is what's known as the golden ratio in trading. That's kind of the level that you need to aspire to. If you're getting better than 2-to-1, then it's exceptional. A 2-to-1 ratio across the board is really, really good. And it's something that I pride myself on in terms of my performance this year. Let's talk about the month to date, shall we? And we can filter that and we'll look at the month to date. So month to date, we are currently at 42,000 profit on the month. So that's not, by all, we've got 60,000 to achieve in 8 trading days. If we can manage to do between $6,000 and $7,000 on average each day between now and the end of the month, that would take us to the $60,000. However, that being said, what we really need to get to is $100,000 regardless. So currently we're 3,200 averaging on the per day on the month. Whereas, as you saw from the annual statistics, it's slightly behind what I'm performing at across the year, which is a little over 5K. That can all change. We're only halfway through the month. However, if I look at the statistics in terms of trade accuracy, it's not quite 3 to 2. So it's a little better than 3 to 2. Whereas we were 2 to 1 for the year. So we're a little bit down on the trade accuracy. So that's partly contributing to the poor performance. I say poor performance, the relatively poor performance in October. And the risk versus reward isn't quite there either. 111,000 versus just shy of 70,000. So we're slightly behind there as well. That's put them together. That's what's contributing to the behind the goal average for October. I did mention that we had that big drawdown last week. We're still not recovered. We're 3 days in. We're 3 days green, which is good. Tomorrow is our day for recovery, because if we have an average day tomorrow, a $5,000 day tomorrow, we recover. We're currently $4,600 down. Well, just over $4,600 down on the month in terms of drawdown. So we recover that, and it takes us back up to the monthly highs. But if we go back to the average that I'm making on October, an average October day won't quite cut it. So I need an average day across the year to get to clear that drawdown and get to where we need to be. So yeah, I mean, right now, October's pretty much halfway through. We've got 8 trading days left. I'll be back at it tomorrow. I did take a punt that doesn't seem to have worked out for me on Tesla. I bought some options on my other account, my Interactive Brokers account, and Tesla's about $10 per contract down. And what I will say is, look, you win some, you lose some. That's on my SIP account in my Interactive Brokers. But what I will do is I'll be back at it tomorrow, trading again tomorrow. So come join me 90 minutes before the market opens, and we'll do it all again. I'll see you there, hopefully.